Hello again, loyal readers and devoted fans of Salem's most gripping saga. We at TV Days Drama Digest are back with another intense deep dive into the world of Days of Our Lives. And today, the topic at hand is nothing short of explosive. After weeks of emotional upheaval, whispered speculation, and ominous clues, we find ourselves standing on the precipice of what may be one of the most defining moments in recent Salem history, the awakening of EJ DiMera. EJ, the charismatic, cunning, and often controversial heir to the DiMera legacy, has been lying in a coma for what has felt like an eternity. Shot down in cold blood under mysterious circumstances, his fate has remained uncertain. The hospital machines have beeped on in the background while loved ones and enemies alike gathered, whispered, plotted, and feared what the future might bring. And now, at long last, signs point to EJ waking up. But this isn't just a medical recovery. This is the opening of Pandora's box. What will EJ remember when he regains consciousness? Will we finally know who shot him? Or will his return only deepen the mystery, sparking new waves of manipulation, revenge, and heartbreak? Strap in, because the possibilities are not only endless, they're chilling. The possibility of a switched patient and a memory-altering drug. Let's begin with perhaps the most sinister and shadowy theory making its way through Salem's gossip circles, that EJ was intentionally given a drug to erase his memory. According to several hospital insiders and a few DiMera family loyalists who've been watching closely, there were moments, small windows of time, when EJ was left unattended. These weren't just shifts changing hands or doctors rotating on call. These were moments when someone, anyone, could have slipped into his room and done the unthinkable. There's talk that EJ may have been briefly transferred, just long enough for a sedative or drug to be introduced into his foreline. Memory inhibitors, though experimental and unethical, have surfaced in Salem's darkest corners before. Could this be one of those cases? Was someone so desperate to silence EJ that they ensured, pharmacologically, that he could never point a finger? If so, this wasn't just an attempted murder. This was a cover-up of surgical precision. And whoever orchestrated it didn't just want EJ dead, they wanted his voice erased. Imagine the horror of waking up, knowing something terrible happened, but with no idea who did it. No images, no sounds, just a blank space where your memory of the most traumatic moment in your life should be. That's not just amnesia. That's calculated sabotage. The trauma of the coma. Is natural amnesia more likely? Of course, some take a less conspiratorial view. They believe that EJ's potential amnesia is not the result of foul play, but the tragic consequence of sheer trauma. A coma, by its nature, disrupts the body and brain in ways science still struggles to fully understand. Could it be that EJ's memory loss is the result of his mind's attempt to protect itself? To shut down the moment of violence to preserve what little stability remained? Psychologists have long noted that in moments of extreme distress, the human brain can fragment memories, erase them, or bury them so deeply they may never surface again. EJ's physical injuries were substantial, but the emotional and psychological ones? Possibly even worse. This theory, though less nefarious, is no less devastating. If EJ doesn't remember, if he simply can't remember, then the shooter walks free, possibly forever. The people of Salem are left without justice, and the DiMera legacy hangs in limbo. The killer, meanwhile, may be hiding in plain sight, wearing a smile and extending sympathies while quietly reveling in their success. That kind of silence is dangerous. That kind of unknown. It breeds paranoia. And in Salem, paranoia has always been a precursor to bloodshed. Does EJ know more than he's letting on? Now, here's where the drama takes a truly delicious turn. What if EJ remembers everything? The face of his assailant, the voice that snarled before the shot rang out, but has decided, for reasons of his own, to keep that information locked inside. Why would he stay silent, you ask? The answer may be more emotional than strategic. There's growing speculation that the person who shot EJ isn't an enemy from outside the family, but someone deeply, painfully close. Rumors have swirled for weeks. Some suggest Rachel, EJ's own niece, may have been involved. Others go even further, whispering the unthinkable, that Johnny, EJ's son, may have pulled the trigger. Imagine the weight of that knowledge. Imagine waking up and realizing that the person who tried to kill you is someone you once rocked to sleep, someone whose birth you celebrated, whose victories you championed. How do you process that? Would you turn them in? Or would you stay silent, choosing to protect your family's already fractured name? The DiMeras are no strangers to betrayal, but patricide, that would shatter the family in ways even Stefano himself couldn't have foreseen. If EJ is keeping this secret, it's not just out of fear. It's out of love. Or, perhaps, out of a desire to control the narrative on his own terms. Because silence, in EJ's hands, isn't weakness. It's strategy. The DiMera mind game, using the incident to his advantage, let us not forget who we're dealing with. EJ DiMera is not a passive player. He is a tactician, a schemer, and a survivor. What if he doesn't know who shot him, but realizes that no one else knows what he knows either? That's power. Pure, unfiltered power. In that silence, he holds sway over everyone. He could name names, point fingers, stir chaos, all without a shred of evidence. Gabby, Rafe, Jada, Kate. Any one of them could be targets of suspicion, and if EJ plays his cards right, he could remove obstacles and adversaries in one calculated move. One whispered accusation. One staged panic attack. One carefully planted suggestion. That's all it would take. And given Salem's long history of impulsive law enforcement and dramatic courtroom scenes, it wouldn't be long before someone found themselves arrested, whether they were guilty or not. If this theory proves true, then EJ's awakening won't bring clarity. It will bring war. The fallout, what Salem faces next. The DiMera mansion has already been vibrating with tension. Family members have taken sides. Loyalties have been tested. Old enemies have grown bolder, sensing a power vacuum in EJ's absence. Now, with his return, the air in Salem is thick with expectation and fear. What happens next will affect not just the DiMeras, but everyone. If EJ reveals the shooter, alliances will crumble. If he accuses the wrong person, lawsuits and vendettas will follow. If he stays silent, his enemies will grow paranoid, making mistakes. And if he manipulates the truth, then all of Salem may find itself dragged into a game it doesn't even know it's playing. The emotional stakes are sky-high. Abigail, Chad, Belle, Sammy, each of them has a connection to EJ. Each will be drawn into the firestorm of consequences his return will unleash. No one is safe from the ripple effect. Relationships will collapse. Secrets will emerge. And somewhere, the real shooter will be watching, waiting to see if they've gotten away with it. Final thoughts. The calm before the storm as EJ's eyes flutter open and his lips part. We must all prepare for what's to come. His first words may offer hope or herald doom. Will they bring justice or vengeance? Forgiveness or fury? EJ's awakening is more than a plot point. It's the match about to strike the fuse. Salem will never be the same. So we ask you, dear readers, when EJ opens his eyes, will he see the truth? Or will he become part of the most dangerous game of all? The answer is coming. And we'll be watching every second. We hope you enjoyed it and look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe TV Days Drama Digest for more updates on Days of Our Lives.